Well, good afternoon. Hope you're enjoying the day so far. And this afternoon I'm going to be showing you acrylics using household tools and bits and pieces you can find. We're looking at Luke's Gospel, chapter 5, verses 1 to 11. And I'm going to read it to you in the Message translation to begin with, because I like to read around in a few different translations before I begin when I'm pondering Bible things. So, push out into deep water. Once, when he was standing on the shore of the lake Gethsemane, the crowd was pushing into him to better hear the word of God. He noticed two boats tied up. The fishermen had just left them and were scrubbing their nets. He climbed into the one boat that was Simon's and asked him to put out a little from the shore. Sitting there, using the boat as for a pulpit, he taught the crowd. When he finished teaching, he said to Simon, "Push out into deep water and let your nets out for a catch." Simon said, "Master, we've been fishing hard all night and we haven't even caught a minnow." I presume that's a small fish. "But if you say, I'll let out the nets." It was no sooner said than done, and a huge haul of fish straining the nets past capacity. They waved to the partners in the other boat to come help them. They filled both boats, nearly swamping them with the catch. Simon Peter, when he saw it, fell on his knees before Jesus. "Master, leave. I'm a sinner and I can't handle this holiness. Leave me to myself." When they pulled in that catch of fish, awe overwhelmed Simon and everyone with him. It was the same with James and John, Zebedee's sons, co-workers with Simon. Jesus said to Simon, "There is nothing to fear. From now on you'll be fishing for men and women." They pulled their boats up onto the beach, left them, nets and all, and followed him. That's from Bible Gateway, as to be able to find the different reference, just in case you need to know. It was the Message translation. So I'm going to be thinking about using the acrylics to form that scene, really. And the words that I've been focusing on in the Passion translation, it said it was an astonishing miracle, which I suppose for the disciples then this is the calling of them. So it's the first time they've seen anything like this. So whereas we perhaps take it with a bit of a pinch of salt because we're used to hearing it, this is the first time they've heard it and actually seen something with their eyes, so they're awestruck. So I'm going to work across the whole of my page. I've not prepared my pages already, but I have stuck in one of our old newsletters, which I usually put in between the pages to protect me. And I'm working this afternoon in the Good News version because I've already done Luke 5 in my other Bible, so I'm doing it in this one. And we're either going to be using cardboard, strips of thick cardboard, these are old ones that you can see, or a plastic card, and sponges and different bits and pieces really. So, and I've got a plate here ready just to be able to use as a palette. The good thing about acrylics is they dry relatively quickly, although I can always whap my hairdryer over them as well to just speed things up. I'm probably going to pull that out. And now I don't mind working on the whole of my page because I'm very fortunate I've got more than one Bible, and I often read the Bible on my phone or on my computer instead. So I use my Bible as a journaling Bible, really, more as a diary for how I'm feeling and responding to things. So I've begun by putting a tiny amount, as you can see, onto the end of a brush here, and I want to sort of create some sort of watery effects, as if it's the water, isn't it? That's where they are. So obviously I can't do the whole scene. Well, I could do if I wanted to, but I'm just showing you just different ways. So I'm going to use a variety of blues to just be able to try and depict the water, and I'm going to use a variety of sizes of cardboard and whatnot, just so that it adds a bit of variety more than anything. I might even use a baby wipe yet, so you can use both. I haven't created this page yet, so I'm coming to this completely live. Which piece do I want? Let's do this one to start off with. I'm just doing a bit of swishing of movements. You can see it's picking up a bit of the green paint there, which was left over from another time. That's one of the benefits of it. So this is just my water. Obviously, if you haven't got acrylics, you could do a wash with the watercolours, or you could do colouring lines across with pencils, but this is with acrylics. Acrylics are slightly thicker than like children's paints. I think I might need to put a bit of white in with some of this, just to sort of give the actually perhaps a bit of grey really might be a good idea, mightn't it? I don't know if you can see some of these lines sort of just appearing as I scribble through them. I'm just doing this quick. You could take your time more to do it. I wonder if I've got a white. Did I get a white out? I'm not sure if I did actually. Let's, how many more shades of blue did I have in this set? Quite a few, I think. Let's have a bit of this colour. Ooh, I think I've lost a bit of the lid. You're just trying to give the illusion of it being something to do with the water. And, ooh, I don't know if I've got my bubble wrap ready. I'll have to think where my bubble wrap is while I'm working. Let's just put a tiny bit of this darker colour blue in as well, because I think that might just, hopefully just... Can you see the sort of scratch marks there? It's sort of giving you. Thankfully, this isn't about doing something ready for an art exhibition. It's about studying God's word and thinking, how do those words impact me? This particular passage I heard spoke on by Deborah, I think a Manchester preacher, a minister, on the Spring Harvest site in the last week or two, so that's probably still available to watch if you go and look at the moment. She gave some excellent teaching on this particular verse. She drew out so many things, and it's a Bible text I've liked for a long time. Just need to see if I can find a little bit of white to add a little bit of spray. It is typical with no white in this box. I've just got a box off screen. Let me just find a tiny bit of white. I've got a pearl white just because it was the nearest to pick up, so I'm just going to add a tiny bit of that to a bit of my... See, again, just a tiny amount put on, and then I'm just going to spread it around. You can pick it up again and then move it. You know, because it looked like I put a bit too much in there to start off with, and you're just making odd marks really. You know, a bit to go up there, and then for my boat, I think this is where I might. Let me see. I'm going to put a boat here, as if. Now, if you wanted to, you could use a paintbrush, I suppose, for this to draw a paint, but I'm just going to pretend to try and do a little wooden boat. So of this verse, what bit jumped out to you to speak to you? What was it? Was it that Peter recognised that Jesus was holy? Would you have been responded in the same way as the other disciples and just been awestruck? Would you have listened in the first place and actually lent Jesus your boat? Had they even noticed Jesus before this, I wonder? I'm not sure this is too big a difference of colour. Again, just by using different colours, you add a bit of more of a 3D-ness to it, like the water, as you can see, had a bit of variety about it just because I used the different colours and the different shades. And then I'm going to put some fish in the sea, obviously. Now I've pre-cut my fish, and I'll sort of show you what I did with that. I don't think I'm going to put people in my boat, because that might take a bit of doing at this stage. And so that's my boat. And I think what I might do is, when that bit's dry, I'm going to use that to become my net. But before I put my net on, I want to put my fish on. So this is where I've done some pre-work. So I made these 2 tiny little fish, and I cut them out. Sorry, I think I just bumped the camera, which is up above me. I cut them out with a craft knife, but you could use a pair of scissors again with a bit of sharp. So I've decided I'm going to use silver as my fishes. This is just making my own little stencil, really. So I'll put that onto my plate like that. My lids don't want to go back on again today. I haven't found my bubble wrap yet, so I'm just going to stamp those into. I'm hoping they'll come out on my page. I've not actually tried them yet. It's one of those things I'm just learning to do. There you go, there's one of my little fishes. I think this little fishy might be going in a different direction. Let's make him go upwards. See if they're going to have a big catch of fish. I suppose in some ways they could be different colours as well, these fish. If I added a bit of something to this paint, perhaps I'll do the other fish in a different colour. You just got to be careful pulling them up and down. I mean, they're not going to last forever, those fish. Let's see. I've got an iridescent blue here, so I might just add that on my palette for my bigger fish. There we go. Let's stick him down. It's very windy here. I don't know if you can hear the wind in the background. It's bright enough day, but it's definitely windy today. There's one of my fish. You can only just see him, can't you? Let's see if he comes out a bit better down here. I mean, you could cut cardboard fish out and stick them on instead if you wanted to. I think I need to make him a bit more silvery. Let's see if I can have another one. I've just remembered I made some marks on his tail so I could try and pick those up in the print. So let me just turn him over. You have to notice my fingers are getting covered in paint as well, but that's not unusual for me. Let's see if I can get that mark on his tail to come out. Ooh, just a tiny bit. These are all the fish. So I'm just going to very quickly give a little bit of a dry with my hair dryer. So excuse the noise for just 2 seconds. Hopefully that's nearly dry now, and in the meantime I managed to spot a tiny bit of bubble wrap, which I think what I'm going to do with the bubble wrap is put some of this blue, a bit of a mixture of the blues, onto this page here. Use whatever's left over. That's not really coming out, is it? A bit strange, that one. As if this might be the, do you know, like the splash that comes up the side of a boat? You don't need loads of paint, it's just, you know, enough to be able to smudge over. And just, you can see, doing a bit of that, and I'm just going to lay some of that down, almost as if, you know, perhaps the water's coming up onto the boat a little bit, splashing it. In fact, I might do a few of those bubbles in the water as well. I don't actually know if they'll take, but adds a little bit of extra to it. Obviously clean them all off with thingy afterwards, but this is going to be my net shape, and because I want it to be, look as if it's a net and not this shape, I'm probably going to use a sponge just to do that. And I think, what colour net would you have? so I'm going to use some of this colour because the nets and maybe that really dark colour as if it's a blacky brown. I hadn't really thought about what colour my net was going to be before I started. So, and then I'm just using a makeup brush. So I'm going to start my net up here as if it's coming down into it. This is going to be, you almost need a stencil with the opposite of this, but I obviously haven't got one of those. So I'm sort of doing the outside of it as if they're caught inside it. I'm hoping that's what's going to work on the page as well. It's got a bit of sticky stuff on this one. You can't quite see all of them yet, so I probably need to do a few more darker ones. You could use a baby wipe instead of a sponge for this bit if you wanted to, because they're quite nice for smoochy marks. In fact, you could do your water that way as well. Let's just do a few darker ones that side. So as if they're, actually I think they need a bit as if they're caught in the net down there. Obviously the drier they are and the more contrast of colours you use, the better your fishes will be. What I might do is actually outline a few of those with a white pen. I do like to use a white pen, and then add some writing to my page. So I might just squiggle around a few of the fish just to make more of a feature of them. And the scribbles, just highlights them a little bit more. When things aren't great, you can just add to it. You can just about see the fishes there, can you? It probably would have been a good idea not to use the silvery paint underneath and just done the fishes in that, but I hadn't thought about where the white was. So they're in the boat being caught. And what words do I want? I wanted a astonishing miracle. So that's what I'm going to write. Do I want to write it in my boat or above? I think I might do it above. Thankfully, I copied it down for how to spell it. Obviously, you could do this with a pencil first before you begin. As I said, do go and look up the information from the talk. She talks all about how the disciples were in a place of disappointment, having worked all evening for nothing and seemed to fail at what was going on, and how Jesus steps in to their disappointment, and in it he says that they've got potential. And then she goes on to make some other points as well, which I think are really excellent. It was a brilliant talk and great talking. So I'm just going to, just not the microphone. I'm just going to double that up a little bit, just to try and emphasise it a little bit, a bit different. So that's my page using the acrylics. Again, using lots of different bits and pieces just to be able to make some marks and to have some fun. Okay, thanks for joining us, and look forward to hearing what you get up to. Do come along and share what you do with your pages. Thanks, bye.